questions is very specific in relation to the estimated cost of the revised Corrib Cósta flood relief scheme, and if you'll make a statement on the matter, Gurmagh.
Thanks very much, Deputy Connolly. The Catchment Flood Risk Assessment and Management Programme was the largest study of flood risk in the country, studying the flood risk for some 2/3 of the population. Following this CFRAM's assessment options, Galway City Council appointed consultant engineers in November 2020 to design a detailed option to protect the city from a significant flood event in the future. During this time, it's become apparent that the scale of the flooding risk in Galway City is greater than the strategic CFRAM study. The process of redefining the scope for the Corrib Cósta Galway City Flood Relief Scheme, which is at stage 1 scheme development preliminary design, has taken longer than first envisaged due to the need to complete some coastal assessments that did not form part of CFRAM's programme, and the complexity and increase in scale of the scheme identified by the assessment hydrology and hydraulic modelling for the city, including wave impact. A draft revised scope reflecting additional works for the scheme has been presented by the scheme's consultant Galway City Council, that is the lead authority for the scheme. To give a context to the increase in scale of the programme, the scheme was originally to protect some 212 houses, whereas today the scheme is being designed to protect some 940 properties, 3 times more. Until such time as an option for detailed design for Galway City County is available, there is no evidence for instance that can be support any accurate assessment of possible cost and budget for this scheme. The CFRAM's has estimated a total cost of the budget of some 9.5 million. However, given the scale of the project and the required defences are far greater and will protect over 3 times many property, the best estimate cost for the scheme at this time is most likely be in the region of 50 million. The Government is committed to design and completion of a flood relief scheme for Galway City and is committed to funding this scheme once a viable scheme is identified through a National Development Plan that has allocated 1.3 billion for flood relief measures.
Sorry, Minister, I just missed what you said, the total cost. 50
million.
15 or 50?
No, I'll read it to you just to be precise. Given the scale of the project and the required defences are far greater, because we're now dealing with 940 properties rather than 312, and obviously the issue in terms of the hydrology and the wave, in terms of impact, the further tests are required, far greater, and would protect over 3 times many properties. The best estimate cost for this scheme at this time is that it's most likely to be in the region of 50 million, 50.
50, thank you. 50 million, so it's gone from 9.5 million up to 50 million. And you see those 940 properties, they include the area where I live in Claddagh, but it includes a lot of other areas, Long Walk, Spanish Arch, Eglinton Canal. Those properties, from as long as I'm asking this question for the last 2 to 3 years, the 940 properties were all included. And so there were stages, and your predecessor, Minister Donovan, was very au fait with this, and I'm sure you will be as well. But he expressed frustration at the lack of progress in relation to this. So it's been outlined 5 different phases, stage 1 options assessment, and we go forward then. Construction was to start in 2026 in Galway. Now a planning application won't even be put in until 2027. So we flood practically every year. So I can't understand what the delay is. There's been over 3, I was there on the council in relation to the CFRAM maps. That process started in 2012. We knew then that they weren't planning for properly, but I won't go over time and I'll come back.
Thanks very much, Deputy Connolly, and you'll appreciate I've just come into the brief, but I have made myself familiar with the scheme, and as you'll know from my previous before, I'm all about process. So just to give you an update in that area, the revised scope has been reviewed by the Corrib Cósta steering group members, and agreement has been reached on the revised scope, subject agreement on a fee proposal from the consultant. Galway City Council is currently liaising with the consultants on its fee proposal. Once the fee proposal is agreed, the project programme can be finalised. It's the intention of the project steering group to publish the updated project programme to the project website shortly thereafter. And it's something that I will follow up. I note that your concern around in terms of progressing the scheme, and it's something I'm committed to doing in terms of the representation you make here today.
Yeah, 2012 the process started. And when I left in 2016, it was finishing that process, identifying the flood risks. Now we're in 2024, and all of the stages have gone by the board. So instead of construction starting in 2026, a planning application is now going to go in 2027. I don't think you could be happy with that, given that Galway City floods practically every year, without exaggeration. My own office is in that area, so I have a particular. It's only an office. That's nothing to compare with what the homes are suffering. So every year there's a cost to the exchequer, not to mention the damage to the home, not to mention problems with insurance and all of that. And I have no idea what is going on. I don't think they have either. The website hasn't been updated. Different things, targets have been given. None of them met. And all I'm being told is complexity. I know, I live in Galway. I'm opposite Galway Bay. I know how complex it is. But they knew that from day one. So they either misjudged everything or there's some incompetence somewhere along the line. I'm not saying, there's something wrong somewhere in this scenario.
Thanks very much, Deputy Connolly. My role here as Minister is to progress the scheme as I've taken over now. So in terms of process, the revised scope we talk about in terms of dealing with the 940 properties, that's been reviewed by the steering group. An agreement has been reached. They're now obviously agreeing with the consultants who are Arabs in terms of the fee proposal, and once that's agreed, the steering group will publish the updated project programme on their website shortly. It's something I'm committed to now following up to ensure that that happens as quickly as possible, without delay.